Hi, welcome to Planning Your Class. This is a guide to building and moving your content over to Blackboard. Moving your content over from various locations can seem like an overwhelming job, but we are going to take your content and move it over in small sections. The first thing we're going to do is reflect on your current content and where it resides. You could have a lot of your content on your website. You could have subject content stored in such places as Google Drive and various other locations, and you have other means of content through parent communication, newsletters, and other such items. As you're considering how to move your content over, think of it in small sections and how you would like it designed. As you become more proficient with Blackboard, you will be able to move larger sections of content over and start your design in being exactly how you want it to be. Remember, don't get overwhelmed by thinking of moving everything all at one time. You will move small sections, you will move item by item, and sometimes it could be as easy as copying and pasting current content into Blackboard. We have created a Blackboard Contents Planning Map for you to use. Now that you have your content in mind that you would like to move over to Blackboard, use this planning map to help you organize your content. Remember, once we open this document, that it is a working document and you don't have to fill it out at one time. You start by clicking the link and it will force you to make a copy of the document. You click Make a Copy, and if you would like to, you can go up here to your naming of the document, and instead of it saying copy of, you can change it to your last name so it's easy for you to find later. As you can see, your Blackboard's content planning map has been made into 3 pages. Please note that you could make a copy of this table at any time if you need more items. You simply highlight the entire document. You can right click and say copy, or you can press Ctrl C. Go down to the document. Simply click down a few until you get a new page, and then you can paste it in. The way you work the Blackboard's content planning map is your first column is your navigation menu, or what will appear as your main menu in your Blackboard class. To see an example of a navigation menu, I have a Dobbs Elementary class created, and this is my main navigation window where you will see how I have my items organized. In your main navigation window, you will have your class website, which if you're not going to use Blackboard as your main website in the beginning, you might want to link to your current website until you're ready to use just Blackboard. You could have your subject content such as science, social studies, reading. You might have homework, announcements, calendar, and many more items as your main navigation. Your second column is for content items, and this is where your menu navigation will link to these folders. You might link to a calendar, a subject content, and others. To show you my subject content folders, you see that I have them over here and in my navigation, and they appear over here as well in my subject content. This is where I will house my reading information, math, and so on. Your individual items are going to be in column 3, and those will be the items that you will have inside your content folders. For example, if you click into one of my content folders for math, you will see a lot of different folders in here and some activities. Inside my math folder, you will find that I have other folders with vocabulary, scope and sequence. I have activities, And I also have other links that I'm using to build out my math course. I would like to show you an example of what our class looks like using this structure, which is our menu, our announcements calendar, contact information, our 4 units, and other helpful information below that. And inside our navigational menu is Unit 1. Inside Unit 1, we find our folders. And in Unit 1, we have Getting the Big Picture and Planning and Class Design, which we are working on now. In Getting the Big Picture folder, we have our items. Our items consist of the videos, which are all the videos at one time, video segments, and the recorded Q&A session. There's an item for Getting the Big Picture for written directions and the assignment of Try It. This is how our class is structured. As we move along, we are going to see another example of a class structure. What I'm about to show you is a class structure that a first grade teacher used in planning her class with the contents planning map and then making it come to life in Blackboard. In her navigation menu in her planning map, she decided she would need a home page, first grade information, a class website link along with subject area content and other items. Once she started building her sandbox course, she has her home page. Instead of first grade information, she chose to name it information, and then she chose her class website as well. She has all of her subject area content, and she has a contact information. This will change as she's building her Blackboard sandbox. As you're using your planning map, consider how to lay out your links for everyone to navigate easily. To see an example of this completed map, click here and it will open for you. Again, you see the same green information for her navigation menu, and then how she has her navigational folders and her individual items. We will come back to all of this momentarily. As you're thinking about your planning, think about what items you would need to move over and how you want those items positioned inside of Blackboard. As you start thinking about folders, your folders will reside in your navigational menu. Your folders are where you will begin to organize your content for Blackboard. Once you get more proficient, this could be a combination of folders, links, resources, and various other items. I want to show you a link inside my Social Studies folder as to what resides in that folder. When we click the link, you see my Social Studies folder, and inside that folder, inside that content area, I have 2 folders. One for geographic understandings. I have my standards listed as well, and historical understandings with my standards list. If you wanted, you could make another folder in here and list your standards in there. Once I open this folder, I will have all of my items listed. Going back to our first grade class, we see she has first grade information. When we open that folder, you see that it links to her calendar. She has information, and the information is where she puts activities on her calendar. If we go to her spelling folder and follow this link, you can see that she's got spelling. This is her spelling folder, and her items are a link to Spelling City, and she has her spelling words in here as well. And if we go to her Social Studies folder and link to it, her items are a Google Earth landforms activity. There are various discovery education videos on landforms. A landforms test has been created. Inside your folders are going to be your individual items. Your individual items for your content planning map could be your calendar, various links to websites, spelling list, digital resources such as BrainPop videos, Discovery educational videos, and more. You could have folders, assignments, tests, and much more. To look at this example of the individual items, she had school calendar, and she links here to the school calendar for her individual item. In her spelling section, she had that her individual items would include a Spelling City link, a weekly spelling test, and a spelling homework assignment. You see that when we click on spelling, we can see that she has her Spelling City link, and you can't see it currently, but she also has her spelling list. The pink represented her Social Studies folder, and you can see her individual items were the Google Earth landforms and the Discovery Education landform items. If we refer back to our big contents planning map, we see that spelling, English Language Arts was a navigational menu. When you open that, you create the spelling folder, and inside that folder she has her items of the Spelling City link, the weekly spelling test, and the homework assignment. So now she is starting to organize her Blackboard class in the way she has it on her planning map. To show you an example of a class that I have inside Blackboard called Dobbs Elementary, here are my navigational items, my subject content folders, and my individual items that reside in those folders. To show you this in the actual Blackboard course, I click on it and my home page is my calendar where I have activities for my students. You can see I have my activities that I want students and parents to see, and then my other navigational for subjects. If I click my subject content folder, I have all my various folders. If we look in my Social Studies folder, I have other folders based on the units that I would be teaching. Inside this folder are other folders for guides, activities, and assessments. If we click the Activities folder, you will then see I have an activity in there. When I click to the Students to Use Social Studies, they have an activity in their folder on Lewis and Clark and a continence test. Inside my Math folder, I have an activity, a bad case of stripes, measuring my foot, and a link to MobyMax. After you start building your navigational menu, you will find that some things link to folders, such as subject content, and then other navigational menu items will simply have activities. Remember, this is a work in progress, and you will continue to move items back and forth as you build your Blackboard course. Don't let this be an overwhelming task. Think about one activity or one subject area at the time that you would like to create or move over to Blackboard. Remember to always go back to your copy of your contents planning map to figure out or review how to plan out your class. In your next activity, you will have a video on class design. This will also describe how to create a dynamic online class to keep things clean and simple